What's up, guys? It's another chapter. Holy moly, me oh my, already. And it was real good. It was real good. We gotta get into it now. We gotta get into it now. We gotta get into it now. All right, chapter 1064. We're there. We're here. We're here. We finally got the answers to what was going on in this cover story. It's as we all suspected. It's your boy. It's your boy Kuzan in the house. And also Van Augur. Van Augur is also here, which is crazy. This is a first for any of the cover stories where people in the cover story are also in the real chapter. Like, the consequences of what's going on in this cover story are already being brought out later in the chapter. That's never happened before. It really goes to show that Oda is not wasting any more time with the story. Like, these cover stories, you know, we all expected that we would see the consequences of them, like, later down the line, like at the end of this arc. You know, this would be what this is like set up for whatever the next arc is. But no, this is right now stuff. This is crazy. Obviously, this happened before the stuff that's going on in the chapter right now, but I'm wondering how far apart they are. We know that Van Augur here has the warp fruit, so he can go. We don't know his range. We know that Law's teleportation stuff with his room has a range. We don't know if this guy has a range yet. So he may be able to just like go anywhere he wants in the Grand Line as fast as he wants without any limitation. So theoretically, he could have done that and then popped over back to the fight with Law like immediately. This could have been like 20 minutes ago. Who knows? Or it could have been like a month ago. We don't know. It is good to see confirmation that this was Kuzan, though. We finally know that the two people back in this, you know, 1046, so many chapters ago, everyone was wondering who they were. They had the cloaks, which made people think that they were just the Germa people, because I'm pretty sure that both of those people don't usually wear cloaks. Kuzan definitely doesn't wear a cloak ever. So the fact that it was all this definitely took people off guard, especially after the whole, you know, bait and switch with all the Germa actually being there. But we finally know, confirmed, that these two characters right here, these two black silhouettes, were Kuzan and Van Augur. You know, looking nice. Looking pretty fly with those capes, I gotta say. Looking pretty nice. I still wonder now, though, where the rest of this cover story is going at this point. We already see the consequences of this later in the chapter, so I'm assuming that we're just going to focus on the actual Germa stuff with Caesar escaping Whole Cake Island. I think that they're going to focus in on that again, because this part of the cover story has been pretty much concluded. I think that maybe we'll see more of them getting back to their ship, and we'll actually see Judge again, and maybe Judge and Caesar will have some sort of interaction or something that may lead into some future things, because I think these guys are obviously going to be important moving on. You know, this isn't just like a side thing, just like a little epilogue for the Germa. We're going to see the Germa again in some sort of important way down the line, maybe during the Second Island arc, because this is the whole scientific futuristic arc. That would make sense if we saw them soon. You know, that's not a crazy thing to say considering what we got today. But yeah, good start. Good start to a chapter. We're only on the first page. So far, every 2-page spread involving Blackbeard post Wano has been really creative. Like, we don't usually see panel composition like that. I feel like a lot of the 2-page spreads in Wano started being similar. You know, it was kind of just like a big thing in the corner and then like a little bit of an L shape of the regular panels. But he is getting really creative with, you know, him just like popping right out of the panels and all these weird angles and everything. But oh yeah, Blackbeard, we're getting him again this chapter. We all thought, we were like, oh yeah, they're definitely just gonna off-screen it. You know, Law's just gonna get beat up real hard off-screen. We're not gonna see the fight. Oda doesn't do that. Well, he does do that now. It's post-Wano, baby. It's post-Wano, baby. So Law gets the first hit in the fight, cutting this horse right in half, and then Blackbeard mentions that he thinks that he's using an awakening there. I guess you can kind of tell because of the because this little thing right there, that's what he does whenever he does his awakening. But this seems like something that he's always been able to do. It's like literally the first thing that we saw him do in Sabaody is cut someone in half from far away. Maybe it just means that they're like way more farther away, because I think there's a good amount of distance between the two of them right now. And maybe there wasn't as much back on Sabaody when they were fighting the Marines for the first time. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like this was specifically an awakening move, but I don't know. If Oda says it is, then it is. It's really nostalgic seeing like Doc Q actually uses little apple bombs, which we saw him do so long ago back in Jaya. So long ago, I almost forgot that was kind of his shtick, was these explosive apple bombs. And I guess they're powerful, you know. You think that like a little explosion wouldn't hurt someone in the New World at this point, but you know, when Oda wants bombs and guns to do damage to people, it'll do damage to people. So, we all said it. We were all saying last week, what is Lost Crew gonna do in this fight? What are these little pansies gonna do? Well, they did something. They're doing stuff. They're proving us wrong a little bit. You know, we got one of Lost Crew members doing something right here. You know, he obviously has a bunch of water inside him. That's obviously not a devil fruit thing. Is this guy actually a fishman, or is he just good at swimming? Is this an actual power, or is it just like a weird, goofy comic book thingy that's going on? I don't know, but he's doing something. He's doing more than nothing, which is, you know, a lot of people did not even expect that bare minimum. So good on you, dude. Good on you. Now, speaking of doing nothing, though, Beppo. Beppo is the one that I'm wondering if they're waiting out on for him to do something, or if he actually is going to do nothing. Because all the Law Pirates doing something and being like okay at fighting right now is fine, but the problem with that is that they really did nothing in Wano during the raid on Onigashima. Like this guy, you know, he's doing important stuff right now in the water, but he did nothing. He did nothing in Wano. Beppo did nothing in Wano, you know? John Bart, I guess he did the exact same thing in the Big Mom fight, where he just like, this guy's just a shield, which is fine. If he just wants to be a shield, you're just like, oh, he's just a tough guy, then he can just be the tough guy. I'm fine with John Bart. John Bart is a homie, but Beppo, come on, man. He hadn't done nothing. Unless you count him doing observation hockey, because this little flash right here is usually what shows that someone is using observation hockey. It's never been confirmed that he knows any of that stuff. So we can give Beppo the benefit of the doubt that he saw the sniper because he's using observation hockey, and that he has good observation hockey. But yep, this is all I'm giving you. This is all you done, Beppo. I wonder if we're just like saving him for another chapter, if we're gonna get like one more chapter of fights where he actually does something, because there's a good chance that the next chapter they're actually just gonna show Law defeated, and the actual final clash they're not gonna show, and then Beppo, I have no idea what are you doing with Beppo, Oda? Give us something. He's the right-hand man. You had him on the cool cover panel of all of the right-hand men a couple of months ago. That was such a cool panel, except it had Beppo in it, and it's just like, what is Beppo doing there? What has he done? He's done nothing. He goes, ooh! He goes, ooh, and ah, and stuff. And that's all he does. He hasn't even done his Sulong form as a mink. He hasn't even done that yet. We haven't even seen that. Maybe we're just building up to that, and he's actually super powerful, because we haven't actually seen a Sulong bear before. But if that's the case, and we actually get that, then cool. That's cool. That's neat. But so far, he just seems to be a little goofy gag character, and I'm not laughing that much. I like this parallel between Blackbeard and Luffy, where Blackbeard, for sure, cannot do all this without his crew. Just like how Luffy, you know, he straight up admits, like, I can't do these things by myself. I need my nakama. You know, Blackbeard, in like a sort of parallel to Luffy, also depends on his crew a lot. He's not a complete opposite like a Crocodile, where Crocodile was like, oh no, I don't need anyone. You know, everyone else is worthless. Like, Blackbeard needs his crew, and it's neat. It's neat. The crew members on both Blackbeard's and Law's side are doing something. None of them are doing nothing. Except for Burgess, actually. Burgess was in the last chapter picking up a mountain, and we didn't even see him in this chapter. I guess he didn't need to be a part of the fight, but it's just weird that they made a big deal of him having the strong fruit and being there, and then he just wasn't in this chapter. Like, there's got to be a third part to this. I really hope that it doesn't end here, and that the next time we see Blackbeard and Law, the fight will be over, because, you know, we still need to see Beppo doing stuff. We still need to see Burgess doing stuff. This is an interesting line, though, where he's just like, oh, should we go back to the ship? And he's like, don't be an idiot. We finish what we start, which is like half true. I mean, literally the last time we saw them in Amazon Lily during that big fight, he did run away because of Rayleigh. He did not end up getting Boa's fruit. He did not finish what he started because he did not get Boa's fruit. So, not right. I think that what this shows is that he is very confident that he will win against Law. He was not confident that he would ever win against someone like Shanks or Rayleigh or even Akainu back in the day. But this fight, he knows he's gonna win. Oh, and just as I was mentioning earlier in the chapter, we already got Pudding. We saw Pudding get kidnapped at the beginning of the cover story, and she's already in the cover story. That is monumental. That doesn't happen. Now, what they're doing right now is that they are teasing us on whether or not Big Mom is actually alive. You know, Pudding doesn't even know at this point. And then the people on Blackbeard's crew, they're like, oh no, we're fighting his killer right now. Some people could see this as a confirmation that she is dead, which would also mean that Kaido is dead too. This could also be just like a little bit of foreshadowing for her eventual return, which I still think is going to happen. I think that Kaido and Big Mom are not dead, but I have no idea where they are right now. I don't think they're going to be a threat anymore. I don't think that they're going to be a big fight or anything in the rest of the story, or a big problem. But I think that they have to have a little bit more. I am not done with Big Mom. I know a lot of people are just fed up and done with Kaido and Big Mom at this point, but I need a little bit more closure on them before we close the book on Kaido and Big Mom. Speaking of wanting more of, we got a little bit of Sakazuki in here. We got a little bit of Akainu in here. And honestly, I'm more excited about him re-entering the story than anyone else, because he was such a big force to reckon with back in Marineford, but this entire time in the time skip, we just see glimpses of him be like, oh, we have to wait. I can't do anything about this. I'm just stuck in this office job right now. Sure, I get to make a lot of orders and stuff, but I want to be out there. I want to fight someone, and I want to see him fight too. We need more character for Sakazuki, because I think that he could be one of the best villains in One Piece. I think he could be even a better villain than Blackbeard if he just had more time to shine. I think that after we're done with Egghead and we get close to this final battle, that we're finally going to get more Sakazuki, and we're going to see what his deal is, what's up with him, and what he really can do. We did confirm that they are on Winter Island right now fighting. I hope that they were in Elbaf. I hope that we were finally going to get to Elbaf, and this would be like just like a little tease on what's to come next. But it seems like they're on a completely different island. Man, whoever was predicting that the 3 islands they were going to go to were like Sphinx Island and Elbaf, like, so far, you know, 2 of them are already wrong. So we have one more island left that Kid's going to that could be Elbaf, but that's about it. There's probably a good chance that Kid is on his way to Elbaf right now, but you know, we've got one more chance. So, to get away from RoboCop Kuma, Bonnie had to change the whole gang into different ages to change how they look, so they're in a disguise of sorts. We finally get a little glimpse of Kid Jimbei, which I'm pretty sure most people thought that we were going to see a Kid Jimbei as a seraphim. I don't know if Jimbei being a kid right now is more of a foreshadowing of us seeing a seraph version of Jimbei, or if this is Oda being like, no, we're getting the Kid Jimbei now, so don't expect another Kid Jimbei later. Oda drew in an SBS a while back all of the warlords as kids, and at this point, we've seen a lot of them as kids canonically in the story. We've seen Blackbeard in a flashback. We've seen Doflamingo in a flashback. We saw a Seraphim version of Mihawk. We've seen a Seraphim version of Boa. And then we just got a canonical child version of Jimbei. So right now, what we have left is a kid version of Kuma, which we kind of have seen. We kind of saw a version of that a couple of chapters ago with CP0. I feel like that was more of a teenage version, but a lot of people are saying that that was the kid version, but I think this looks a little different. And then the two we haven't seen are Moria and Crocodile. There's a big theory that Ivankov turned Crocodile into a man and was once a girl, and that this child version is kind of androgynous. I don't know. I'm not gonna touch that subject. But we hadn't seen a little baby Moria yet. I have a feeling that we're gonna see a Seraph version of Moria soon. We're gonna see this because that's already like an evil face and whatnot. So turning him into like some evil robotic clone baby, that'll fit perfectly. So Moria Seraph. We're gonna see that. That's my prediction. We see age 70 Luffy, a glimpse at a possible future, and you know that's an interesting design for him because he does not look like Garp. Now, the One Piece Wiki says that Garp is actually older than that. Garp is actually 78 right now in the story, according to the One Piece Wiki. So Garp is older than what this Luffy looks like. So what is this trying to insinuate? Because like this is not a good look for Luffy right now. You know, he's losing hair on the top of his head right now. He's still really skinny and stuff. He's not big and bulky like Garp is. I don't even know what Oda is trying to say with this because, you know, I would have thought that he would have turned into more of a Garp-looking person if he became that age. Because, you know, Garp is looking pretty good for a 78-year-old, all things considered. I guess he did clarify that it's a glimpse at a possible future. But that's such a weird way of wording it. That's so weird. How, like, her fruit can, like, sort of predict how people would look when they're older, but it's not completely precise. I don't know. It's so weird. So we're finally getting some lore on Kuma. He says that the world sees Kuma as a tyrannical king that was deposed by his own country and taken in to the government. And then through the government, he met Vegapunk, and that they somehow came up with a deal to let him use his body for genetic modification and cloning. Seeing Bonnie as Jinbei is talking about her dad is just like, ooh. These two panels right here really show her sadness. We haven't seen a sad girl in a long time this sad. It makes me really feel for Bonnie. I really have been enjoying Bonnie in this latest chapter. It's kind of what I've kind of wanted from Yamato, in all honesty. I'm not going to get into all that, though. I don't want to talk about Yamato. We're done with Wano. I don't want to talk about him anymore. But all this stuff that we're getting from Bonnie has been super good. And it's not just because we like Kuma and have wanted to know about Kuma. It's because of her reactions and her relationship with Kuma. I feel like at the beginning of this entire arc, a lot of people had the expectation of Bonnie that she was going to be the person to give us exposition about the Reverie and about Kuma. And that was all people really wanted from her, was just like, oh, we need to know more about Kuma. We need to know what happened with Sabo at the Reverie. And that's all they really cared about. But now it's kind of flipped because I want to know more about Bonnie herself and what's going on in her life right now and what she wants and needs. I want Bonnie to be happy. Okay, we're getting some conflicting information right now because Jinbei says that Kuma was a tyrant and that one of his crimes could have earned him a life sentence. But then Bonnie says, oh no, he was not a tyrant, which we kind of saw from the panel last week of Kuma holding her. And we've also heard from Sabo way back in the day that Kuma was a nice person. So obviously the world government is lying in some sort of way. There's something that happened with Kuma that even the government does not want people to know. Bonnie knows, but Bonnie doesn't even know everything. All Bonnie knows is that her dad was nice. Bonnie doesn't even know why Kuma did some of the things that he's doing now. She doesn't even know why he agreed to become, this experiment to become a cyborg. She still doesn't even know those answers. Oh yeah, also she's got a lightsaber. We got lightsabers, baby. Heck yeah. Look at that. She's got it. She's got it right on her belt, or her belt. So we'll be seeing more lightsaber play in the future, and heck yeah, if we get more Star Wars references this arc, then good. So here's the big reveal of the chapter though, is that she says that Dad always used to say he was part of a very special race. Oh boy, Oda, what are you doing to us now? What could this mean? What special race is Kuma? And is it a race that we've seen before? He could be a giant, but I feel like giants aren't that special nowadays. We're this far into One Piece. Giants aren't that special, so I don't think it could be that. They could find giants anywhere. There are giants in the marine, so I'm gonna take that off the table. He could be Lunarian, but he doesn't have dark skin and he doesn't have wings. He may have had the wings plucked off of him at some point. Oh, he's a fallen angel. But I don't think that's the case either, because we see a literal seraph version of him later. Unless he was the actual one that they got the Lunarian DNA off of to become Seraph. It wasn't like King. We know that King was being experimented onto, so we kind of assumed that this was all from King's DNA, but it could have been from Kuma's DNA too. That's just a thought. I don't think that's the case, but I just thought of that right now. He could be an Oni, like an ogre. I know they've mentioned that is a race that Kaido is not a human because he has the big horns. But Kuma also does not have horns. He could have gotten them chopped off, but we saw in his little kid version and in the flashback last chapter that he didn't have horns on him then. So I don't think he's an Oni. So I have no idea what race he could be. It could be a new race. Could it be a bear race? Could it be a bear? I have no idea. And also, does that mean that Bonnie is also a part of the special race? Because Bonnie doesn't seem that special at all from what we've seen. We do know that after Marineford, when she was captured by Blackbeard and was found by Akainu, that he was like, oh, I had chills down my spine when I learned that you escaped from us. So Bonnie was important to the government at some point in time. Is that just because of her relations to Kuma, or is it because that she's also a part of this special race? Thank you for being a reactionary character, Chopper. You have been very, very helpful this arc so far. I'm kind of kidding right now, but I hope Chopper does something. Still waiting every week for Chopper to do something. We're not at that point yet. We're still just in the expositional part of the arc for sure. So I shouldn't be expecting too much, but come on, give me some Chopper stuff. Give me some Chopper stuff. We're back to the rest of the Straw Hats already because we didn't see them last chapter. So we're finally going to get to see more of them now. And they are on their way to the research stratum, which is above the clouds. So this entire island is set into two distinct parts. The bottom part is where all the manufacturers and research assistants are. and that's where all the normies are, I guess. And then there's like the really cool, super cool lab, which is on a sky island. How did none of us see that or notice that from all the silhouettes that we've seen? But we're on a sky island again. That's crazy. So while everyone else is leaving to see Vegapunk, Brook and Zoro are the two that stay in the ship. The only reason I mention this is because a couple of chapters ago, in one of the translations, it kind of alluded to Zoro acting like he really wanted something from Vegapunk. So the fact that he's just on the ship and not actually coming to see Vegapunk makes me feel like that was more of a mistranslation than anything. But the Sky Island is not natural. She says that she can make use of pyrobloin to coagulate and alter the density of whatever. Do you guys remember pyrobloin particles? Because they sure have not been mentioned in a while, ever since chapter 240 when they were first mentioned, because it's some sort of compound inside sea stone that is brought up into the sky during volcanic eruptions, and that's what makes the Sky Islands. And then somehow, because Vegapunk is so dang smart, they figured out how to use that to create their own Sky Island. Because of course. Because why not? Because literally why not? God, Oda, how am I supposed to review these chapters for this entire arc with Nami and Robin and Bonnie looking like this? Why you gotta do this to me? They look fine. This looks fine. Actually, no, Frankie doesn't look fine. He looks a little weird. He's not wearing pants. What's up with that? What's up with that? Why are Nami and Robin not wearing pants? But Frankie is wearing pants. This makes no sense. Here's something I'm suspicious of, though, with their new outfits. Because with all of these new outfits, they have gotten an earpiece and these boots. Both of these things I'm suspicious of. Well, not as much as the earpiece. Everyone's getting them. I'm hoping that they actually are able to use them in contact with each other. That would be a really cool change to an arc where everyone has their own little walkie-talkies in their ear so everyone can talk to each other at the same time. There's something, though, about these boots that everyone has put on that everyone is saying is light. You know, they made sure to show how these boots work, and it has been mentioned more than once how everyone thinks that these clothes look heavy, but they're actually light. And that makes me feel like this is going to be something that is important and actually comes up later in the arc, but right now I don't have any clues. But this is just my prediction that Oda is setting something up with this clothing. Maybe I'm gonna look like a big goof later on, and that this is just world building fun stuff. But right now, I'm a little sus. So we end the chapter with Shaka talking to a mysterious person who is Dragon. What? The way that Shaka is talking to Dragon right now makes me think that Shaka is the most Vegapunk-esque Vegapunk. Like, this is the one that most fits his real personality. Now, Shaka says that he thinks he's gonna be dead soon. What could this mean? This could mean like three things. One, it could mean him, Shaka, as the individual Shaka and not as fully Vegapunk, and I don't know about that. Two, it's from my theory a couple weeks ago how Vegapunk is actually just like a little shriveled up dude in a jar at this point, and that his life is just coming to an end because he's just so old / deformed at this point. The third one is that he somehow knows that CP0 is coming to his island to eliminate him. That he's already caught wind of that, and he's kind of sort of preparing for this sort of battle. Those are my three predictions. I really do think that at least one of those three is right at this point. I really hope it's in. I hope it's Shriveled Man in the jar, though. Oh yeah, putting all money on Shriveled Man in a jar. This is the most interesting Dragon has been in a very, very long time too. Even more interesting than the times that we've actually seen Dragon recently. Because how is he in cahoots with Vegapunk? What do they know about each other? The Marines, most useful top dog versus, the most wanted man in the world. Is Vegapunk a revolutionary? Or is he just trying to get some money on the side? Is he playing both sides? Or is there something more to this? Because him being a revolutionary in secret makes sense, but with all of the destruction that he's caused with the pacifistas and all the help that he's given to the Marines, I feel like that's not worth it. Maybe it's all just so they could get the research funds, because we know research funds and money is an important thing for Vegapunk. And I'm guessing that if he just straight up sided with the revolutionaries, that he would not have the actual funds to do any of the crazy stuff that he wants to do. But the thing about that is, like, what his deal with Kuma is. Because I'm pretty sure that it was mentioned that even Dragon doesn't know the entire deal with why Kuma made this deal with Vegapunk in the first place of turning him into a cyborg. Not even Dragon knows that. So I feel like this being about just Kuma, there's got to be more to it than just that. But yeah, that's it. That's the chapter for this week. It was a good. Still have not had any misses since the end of Wano. From that cross guild chapter with Buggy up to here, it has been nothing but good stuff. I am so glad I've been able to talk about these chapters. I could not have done that in Wano. The raid on Onigashima, I really enjoyed. I had a really fun time reading all that, but I could not review all that. God bless whoever was able to do that weekly. Holy moly. But yeah, my predictions for next week are, I really hope that we get a little bit more with Blackbeard and Law. Maybe we'll get Burgess doing something. Maybe we'll actually see Beppo doing something. I still think that Law is going to lose the next time we see him, but I'm wondering if we're going to see more than just the aftermath of that. And this, I still don't know what's going on with the Straw Hats and Shaka. I still don't really know what Shaka wants with them. But we do have a break next week, which is fine by me. It's good to have a little bit of a break sometimes. And plus, I've got some other YouTube videos planned for next week anyways. I've made a lot of highlight videos from my Twitch streams, and I've been waiting for a time to post one of them. You may get something spooky before Halloween hits, so stay tuned for that. So I will see y'all next time I do declare. Peace out. Easy, easy, easy. Oh, ha, ha. It's going still. Wow, this is like my record, baby. Ah!